2003, California. Nissan brings a new coupe to the US market, the 350Z. Over 26,000 units sell in the first model year. Within months, the car appears at night races in Los Angeles and San Diego more frequently than the turbocharged Japanese sedans of the 90s. The conflict forms quickly. The manufacturer sells an affordable rear-wheel drive sports car with 287 horsepower for under $30,000. City authorities attempt to contain the growth of illegal racing, which intensifies during this exact period. Before the 350Z arrived, the street racing market in the early 2000s relied on old Supras, RX-7s, turbocharged Honda Civics, and rare imported Skylines. Many of these cars were no longer in production. There were no new rear-wheel drive Japanese coupes at an accessible price point. The 350Z filled this gap. It sold, officially, with warranty, requiring no modifications to achieve power. The Z33 platform quickly becomes a convenient base for tuning. The VQ35DE engine handles forced induction. In 2004 to 2005, American companies released the first production turbo kits. Specialized shops working specifically with the 350Z appear in Southern California and Texas. The car is mass-produced, parts are available, demand grows. Simultaneously, establishment in organized series begins. Formula Drift launches in 2004. By 2005, 350Zs regularly appear in entries. Chris Forsberg switches to this platform and takes second place overall in 2006. Events run in Long Beach, Irwindale, Atlanta. Broadcasts air on national television. A coupe sold at dealerships becomes recognizable on competition tracks. By 2007, 350Z sales in the US exceed 10,000 units annually. The car establishes itself in SCCA as well. Autocross, time trials. Owners participate on stock engines and modified versions. A stable environment forms. Weekend competitions, nighttime street meets, constant exchange of parts, and tuning setups. The growth doesn't go without response. In 2004 and 2005, the Los Angeles Police Department conducts operations against illegal racing. California Vehicle Code Section 23109 gets applied. Cars are impounded for up to 30 days. News reports regularly mention modern Japanese coupes, including the 350Z. The car isn't alone in these reports, but it becomes a visible part of the picture. Insurance companies react in their own way. By 2006, rates for drivers under 25 on the 350Z in several states turn out significantly higher than average rates for regular sedans. Ownership costs increase. For part of the audience, this isn't a deterrent, but merely confirmation of sports car status. On the competition side, a different escalation begins. In 2007 to 2008, power in Formula Drift cars exceeds factory specifications. 350Zs receive V8 engines displacing over 6 liters. Competitors do the same. Toyota Supras and Mazda RX-7s get similar modifications. The series strengthens safety requirements, introduces stricter standards for cages and fuel systems. The format remains, but budgets grow. By 2008, the economic situation in the US changes. The financial crisis sharply reduces sports car sales. In 2007, the 350Z still sells over 10,000 units. In 2008, around 3,000. Demand drops. For the 2009 model year, Nissan ends Z33 production for the American market and replaces it with the 370Z. The new model costs more. The starting price exceeds $29,000. The car is faster, more modern, but no longer as accessible to young buyers who made up the core of the mid-2000s street scene. Simultaneously, modification control tightens. California requires mandatory CARB approval for components affecting emissions. Turbo kits and exhaust systems without the corresponding executive order number become cause for fines. By the early 2010s, the structure changes completely. In Formula Drift, cars with fully rebuilt powertrains dominate, often bearing no relation to the production engine. The 350Z remains in the championship, but now as a chassis for specialized machinery. On the streets, used examples appear increasingly often. Secondary market prices drop. The car becomes accessible to an even wider audience, but without the previous status of a new model. Sales of new rear-wheel drive coupes in the US continue to decline throughout the first half of the decade. The crossover segment grows. Nissan focuses on mass-market models. The 370Z remains in the lineup, but volumes fall far short of the 2003 to 2005 peak. By the mid-2010s, the 350Z definitively establishes itself as a base platform for budget drifting and amateur track days. It's widely represented on the secondary market, easily modified and serviced. The tuning industry that grew on the wave of its popularity continues working with newer models. but relies on experience gained in the mid-2000s.
Between 2003 and 2008, the 350Z became a mass-produced factory sports car that filled a vacuum in the American street scene. It launched at a moment of high demand, established itself through competition and tuning, then faced economic downturn and tightening control. After production ended, the model didn't disappear but transitioned to a different status, an affordable foundation for the next generation of drivers and teams.